Hi everyone, let's take a look at what's unfolding globally and try to make sense of the tense atmosphere we're witnessing. We're in a situation right now that's more heated than it's been in years, and it feels like the world is holding its breath. Let's start with the escalating tensions in the Middle East. Iran has made some serious threats, referring to their True Promise 3, a warning that implies a level of retaliation if things keep escalating against Gaza and Lebanon. At the same time, the US is ramping up its military presence in the region with B-52 bombers flying around to show force. Now, these aren't just any bombers, they're strategic long-range bombers that have often been used as a tool of intimidation because of their destructive capacity. This display alone is enough to keep everyone on edge. Meanwhile, Israel is continuing its operations in Gaza and occasionally in Lebanon, and the scale of destruction is raising concerns globally about the humanitarian crisis. Critics are calling it ethnic cleansing, others genocide, and what's worse, these actions seem to be widening the regional instability, with other countries getting pulled in or pressured to take a side. Now, here's where the big danger comes in: nuclear war. It feels like a distant threat, but as Russia watches these moves, they're definitely taking notes. They have clear ties to Iran, and they don't want American forces getting too close. Imagine a miscalculation where Russia feels its allies or interests are under attack, and suddenly we're not talking about just another regional conflict. That's the fear, a slip, an accident, or a bad call that spirals into something no one can stop. It's terrifying to think of, but it's on everyone's mind. Let's not forget China's role in all of this. China has been mostly watching from the sidelines, but also voicing support for a diplomatic approach. They're balancing their own interests, trying to maintain their position as a powerful player, but also as a country that doesn't want a nuclear conflict. China's strategy is largely about protecting its economic interests, and while they wouldn't want to see the US dominate in the region, they're not eager to see things go nuclear either. So they're in a delicate position, and their stance could change depending on how far things escalate. Then there's Europe. European countries, especially leaders in the EU, are somewhat aligned with Israel publicly, but the European populations are starting to protest in huge numbers, criticizing what they see as complicity in the suffering in Gaza. Many Europeans feel their governments are taking sides instead of pushing for peace, and they're not happy about it. There's a growing divide between what European leaders are doing and what the people in Europe are demanding. Now, the American election will have a huge impact on all of this. If Donald Trump were to get reelected, he claims he would end these conflicts. He talks a lot about America first and says he would be able to broker peace, maybe because he has a track record of engaging directly with authoritarian leaders. Whether or not he could actually do that is anyone's guess. Trump talks about pulling out of these conflicts, but would he? That's an unknown. If Kamala Harris were to take over the presidency, her approach would likely be more in line with Biden's, involving alliances and a strong American presence globally. But she'd also face pressure to change tactics if the situation escalates further. So, where does that leave us? We're on a knife edge. Every day feels like we're just one incident away from something that could spiral out of control. I don't have a crystal ball, but the path forward seems to be a balancing act. There's still room for diplomacy, but it's slipping away, and the consequences of a mistake are unthinkable. Thanks for listening. Stay informed, stay engaged, and let's hope the leaders involved can find a way to dial things down before it's too late.
Unprecedented barrage of more than 300 missiles and drones early Sunday.